Chapter 7. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in him. 1 John 4:16. I'm still on the bridge, just finishing repairs on the camera. Looking out the bridge's window, I see it is going to be a truly fabulous night. Beyond the windship's bow, the blazing orb of the setting sun leisurely falls from a cloud-studded sky. The fading day star washes a bank of clouds near the horizon with bright red light as it slowly slips behind Dangerous Reef. At the reef's highest point, a small group of fur seal pups are momentarily silhouetted in brilliant red light. They are playing King of the Rock. I can hear their heavy barks above the rhythmic sound of the surf. Glancing at the top of the 35-foot turbo sail, I see the wind indicator barely registering a soft breeze blowing from the reef. It means that, other than me, there will be no unusual smells tonight. In about 20 minutes, a full moon will be rising out of the east, and I'm making plans to liven up the evening. All I need is a little help. Right on cue, an unsuspecting Capkin steps through the door, raising a finger to his lips for secrecy. He quietly opens a floor hatch and drops into the reefer below. Like most ships at sea, the Alcyon has to carry a large supply of fresh fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. The reefer beneath the bridge is huge and stocked full of good things to eat. Therefore, it isn't surprising that the reefer happens to be one of Capkin's favorite places. Bruno the chef would have a fit if he knew that Capkin was raiding the grocery locker. Hey, Capkin, I whisper. Want to help me with another experiment? Capkin's head momentarily appears through the hatch. When? He mumbles, taking a big bite of a large red apple. In about 15 minutes, I reply. Ah, Steve, Capkin frowns around his apple. The guys are going to watch a really good movie in the salon. Captain, I'm ashamed of you, I tease. Are you going to sit in front of a boob tube when there's adventure happening outside? What kind of adventure? Capkin asks suspiciously. Kind of like what we did this afternoon, I say, loading a fresh roll of film into the camera. Are you nuts? Capkin mumbles, having forgotten about the apple on his face. It's going to be dark in 15 minutes. I know, I answer, holding up a flash attachment for the camera. How are we going to see the shark coming? He remembers the apple and takes a bite. Lunar light, I grin. The moon will rise in 15 minutes, and it will make a great background for the shark. Okay, I'm in. Captain's head disappears back down the hatch. Looking down inside the reefer, I see Captain busily filling his pockets with a wedge of cheese, two handfuls of nuts, and a banana. Reaching under a wooden crate, he pulls out Bruno's secret stash of cooking chocolate, breaks off a thick piece, which immediately goes into his mouth. I start to walk away. Where are you going? Captain asks softly. In pursuit of decaying mackerel, I answer, closing the bridge door behind me. Outside, I pause to appreciate the incredible beauty of the ocean in twilight. I watch the last red glow of the sunset fading behind Dangerous Reef. For a few seconds, there is a lingering shadow of crimson playing on the dark, rippling water. Then the rapid onset of nightfall brings forth a vast parade of stars, glistening in the heavens. In the east, there is a dim glow of pale light hugging the horizon in anticipation of the moonrise. Happily, I don a pair of Capkin's wetsuit gloves and muck about in the fish bucket for a mackerel. Tying it to the rope still hanging from the crane, I decide not to add a balloon after what happened last time. Captain arrives with his pockets bulging just in time to take his end of the rope. Stepping down onto the swim step, I know I won't have to wait long. Half an hour earlier, I saw 4 sharks aggressively circling the Alcyon's stern. Peering into the dark water, I see a dark shape silently sliding beneath the windship's stern. I hear a sudden splash in the shadowed darkness beyond our stern light, then a rapid swishing of water, like something is being chased. Getting the camera ready, I briefly wonder if the sharks are being more active because of the full moon. Captain echoes my thoughts. Looks like the buggers like to play when the moon is full. 2 great whites, one in pursuit of the other, pass the Alcyon's stern like torpedoes. I move the back of the swim to the back of the swim step just to be a little bit farther from the dark water. Inside my head, my subconscious plays with dark images of flashing teeth. Okay, Captain lowers the fish. Captain, lower the fish, I said nervously. The mackerel barely hits the water before a great white instantly steals it. Well, that was fun, announces Captain. Can I go watch my movie now? I lift the shredded end of the rope. I need another fish. In the next half an hour, we lose 6 fish. All we get to see are their slick backs shimmering in the moonlight as they depart with my fish. I have long since abandoned using Captain's wetsuit gloves. Plunging my bare hands elbow deep into the bait bucket, I lift out a squishy fish and tie it brutally to the rope. Okay, last try, I assure Captain, who is beginning to get impatient. By the way, you know those aren't my gloves, don't you? Snickers Captain. I glance down at the thoroughly slimed gloves. They're not? No, they're Jean Michel's, giggles Captain. I put them by the bait bucket, figuring you'd trap yourself. Suddenly, I see a disturbance in the moonlight, dancing on the black water. Aiming my camera, I warn Captain, get ready, here it comes. The shark actually seems to slow as it erupts from the water. It comes up completely vertical, so slowly that there is no threat of it reaching me. It misses the fish, giving me a great opportunity. I lean forward, aiming the camera almost into its mouth, and release the shutter. The camera's strobe flashes brightly as I get the first ever picture of a great white shark belching. Caught in the instantaneous flash of light, I see that a great white belch is a visible affair. There isn't a chance of my getting out of the way. It is coming straight at me in a thick, misty cloud. It impacts my face. Instantly, I can tell there are moist chunks mixed in with the shark's saliva. I turn to look at Captain. One of my eyes is glued shut with slimy shark slobber. Yuck, announces Captain. The shark barfed on you. An hour later, after thoroughly washing Jean Michel's gloves and my face, I lay out my Coleman sleeping bag on the Windship's main deck. I've decided to sleep outside, particularly since the captain won't let me into our cabin. The moist pieces in the shark belch were, of course, ground putrefying mackerel. Though I scrubbed and scrubbed, I still carry the lingering bouquet of fish rot and shark barf. The light odor coming from Dangerous Reef no longer bothers me at all. Climbing into my sleeping bag, I enjoy the comfortable feeling of the soft flannel. It stirs up boyhood memories, and for a moment, I think back to that young person and his wild hopes and aspirations. How surprised he would be if he could see me now. To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. Anatole France. I was just a typical kid. I got average grades in school and didn't excel at one sport. I wasn't particularly popular, but had a close circle of friends, few good friends at that. I didn't belong to any school clubs because I usually worked after school mowing lawns, picking weeds, and washing cars. I needed the money because my father divorced our family just when I hit my teens. My dad's always seemed uncomfortable around my brother and me. He had one golden rule for us boys. I remember it well because he said it all the time. Go to your room and play quietly or go outside. Despite himself, I know my father loved his children. He just didn't know how to show it. I recently read a survey that claims fathers on the national average are only spending approximately 7.5 minutes a week of quality time with their sons. I think it must be awfully tough for young people growing up in today's busy society. We may wonder where we fit in or even if anyone really cares. In the middle of all this, we must daily make important choices. Unfortunately, some young people just give up. They drop out of school, leave their families, and flee into the unknown. It's scary to attempt to face life in a mostly uncaring world alone. Each and every day, over 1,300 teenagers attempt suicide in America. The most important thing I can say about all of this is that Christ loves us no matter what, no matter who we are or what we've done. He is a beacon of hope and of goodness. God's houses on earth are safe refuges of love and care. His sanctuaries are in every city and town across North and South America. When we are lost, He is always looking for us with open arms. We only have to knock at His door. Learn to do right, seek justice, encourage the oppressed, defend the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Isaiah 1:17.